This exercise is a great way to build end range strength of the outer hip muscles or your hip abductors. So this can be really helpful in closing the gap between your flexibility and your active control, which is really important for performance and things like injury mitigation and sometimes pain as well. So here's how we're going to do this exercise. You're going to lay flat on the bench, and then we're gonna find a straddle position. From here, you're gonna find those outer glute muscles, squeeze them, and then try to squeeze them more and more and more until you can get your legs off the ground, hold, and parachute down. Now, when you do this exercise, it is very common to feel cramping in those glutes, especially if you haven't done any sort of end range training. So this can be kind of progressed. Cramping is okay to push through, but we want to keep it minimal. So you want to be right at the edge of cramping, but not a full-blown like muscle spasm. What we don't want to feel is any sharp pinching pain on the outer sides of the hips. That is some joint stuff, that is closing angle pain, and we don't push into that. This is not a great exercise. Now, if you do this exercise and you cannot get your feet to lift, there are two options for you. One, you can do the exercise and imagine that your feet are on scales, and instead of lifting off the scale, they are making the scale weigh less. So you're just taking some of the weight up, but you're not strong enough to lift them yet. That would be option one. Option two is to find a different position where your hips are. Or option three would be to get a higher bench so that you can be in a little bit more of your mid-range position. Here's what it looks like to do option two. So if I am here, typically in more of a straddle position will be more challenging. Sometimes going back a little bit further can be a little bit easier. If you can do the exercise and clear several inches off the ground, it is too easy for you. We want to be up here where it's challenging and you can only get your feet a fraction of an inch off the ground or close to an inch, but under. So we don't want anything more than just like a little bit, a micro amount. That is where you're truly at the end of what you have control of. The other thing to keep in mind is when you do this exercise, we do not want to just use momentum and arch your back and lift, right? We are trying to get hip movement, not spine, so we shouldn't see a lot of spine movement. We should find those muscles, squeeze them, float, hold, and parachute down. That's the goal. The more control you have over this exercise, the more you're going to get out of it. When we first do it, generally speaking, you'll feel a lot of the things and do a lot of the compensations that I talked about. Over time, those should lessen as you pay more attention and you work through it. So you're typically going to hold those for about 3 to 5 seconds, and we're gonna do about 3 to 5 reps. Then from there, we can progress to longer holds, more challenging position. If that is not challenging enough for you and you're in this position, you just need to elevate your feet or have a lower bench. Both of those are fine. You can put your feet on blocks like yoga blocks or something like that to put yourself more into your end range position to make it more challenging, or you can add ankle weights as well. All of those work, but we want to make sure that it's challenging. We want to make sure that you're progressively overloading this exercise over time. It is going to be very small, not quite the progress you're used to when it comes to strength training, but we do want to make sure that there is some sort of progress over time. So stick with it, try to flirt with the edge of cramping, and over time you should feel that these become easier and you can add weight or do more time or more reps.